안녕하세요. 안녕하세요. 소피반입니다. 그리고 오늘은 정말 특별한 손님을 모셨어요. 네, 우리 예전에도 만나본 적 있었죠. 네, 리즈 선생님 오늘 같이 했습니다. 선생님 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. I'm Liz. Nice to meet you, everybody.
네, please excuse me. I'm gonna throwing in some Korean words. So yeah, to make Koreans understand better.
No problem.
오늘은요, 리즈 선생님을 모신 이유가 우리 한국 분들이 영어에 대해서 굉장히 관심도 많고 영어를 굉장히 열심히 공부를 하시잖아요. 그런데 많이들 영어를 직접 쓰실 때는 좀 위축되시기도 하고 여기 이민 오신 분들은 사실 영어에 관해서 좀 애환이 많으세요. 새로운 환경에서 새로운 사람들을 만나서 세터에서 자리를 잡고 사시는 것도 굉장히 힘드신데 이제 새로운 언어인 영어를 배우시는 것도 힘드시거든요. 그리고 한국에서는 이제 취업을 준비한다 뭐 아니면 학교를 들어가기 위해서 굉장히 많은 시간을 영어에 투자를 하시잖아요. 근데 오늘은 리즈 선생님한테 어떻게 하면 영어를 좀 더 우리가 잘 배울 수 있을까? 우리가 뭐를 해야 더 나아질 수 있을까? 좀 그런 얘기를 나눠보도록 할게요. Today I'd like to introduce you to an English teacher, but not just an English teacher. She is actually a great teacher and professional who always puts students first and thinks about how she can help them enjoy learning English in more practical and more efficient and more fun ways. Hello, Ms. Liz Williams. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet all of you.
And thank you for joining us today. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Okay, so I have been teaching English for altogether maybe 15 years total.
15 years.
I started teaching as a student when I was living in Beijing in China. I have most of my experience teaching English with Asian students, Chinese students, and Korean students. Most recently, I've been teaching a lot of Korean students here in LA. As you know, we have a big Korean population here, and it's close to where I live, so I started teaching there. And because I have a lot of experience learning languages myself, I speak French, I also speak Chinese, and I also speak Spanish. I not only know the point of view of the teacher, but also the point of view of the student. So I understand kind of what students need to improve their English and what are some good ways to really be practical about learning.
Yeah. Awesome. So you are a polyglot. French and Chinese and of course English and some Spanish too, right?
Yes.
Okay, meaning you know how to learn a foreign language and how to use it practically, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. A really big part of my becoming fluent in French and becoming fluent in Chinese was living in that place.
Yeah.
And here in LA, we also have so many people who speak Spanish, and I live with a Spanish speaker. So I understand that like the most important part of learning a foreign language is not just books. It's not just doing what the teacher tells you. It's about putting all that into practice. If you don't practice, you can study a book for 10 years. I know so many students who say, I studied English for 10 years or 12 years or 15 years and I'm still afraid to talk to Americans. I still don't really feel comfortable speaking.
Definitely.
So it's that part that's the most important part really.
Yeah, right. I completely agree with you. So before we dive into more detail, can you just give us a basic idea about learning English?
I would say anything that you can do to make it part of your regular normal life is going to be useful.
Yes, right.
So if you like watching TV, you should be watching TV in English, even if it's only for a small amount of the time that you watch TV. Or if you like music, you should listen to music in English and not just listen and kind of, because I know a lot of people, they learn songs in English and they, even if they can sing it, they may not know what all the words mean. They're doing it phonetically. So if you're learning, music in English, you should make sure you understand all the words and understand what those words mean, and really make it a part of who you are. If you like golf, then you should be reading magazines about golf, but in English.
Yeah, right. Good.
Anything that you like to do, you should be doing it in English, basically.
Yeah, right.
So the other thing that you should really the point of doing activities in English is that you can start thinking in English.
Yeah, right.
So whenever you're in a situation, even if you're with your Korean friends, think about how you would explain what's happening in English. So what should I say if this specific situation happens? And then the more you learn, the more you grow. So get into the habit of, even if you're alone, starting to try to think in English.
Yes, good advice. Great advice. As I am a Korean, I've been wondering how you, as a professional English teacher and as a native speaker too, what do you think about Koreans' learning styles? Of course, everyone has different learning styles in different situations, learn differently. But is there any common thread among Koreans?
Definitely. So I would say, you know, I've taught students from all over the world, and it's true that like different people have their different styles, but different people from different regions tend to have similar they have similar cultures, so they have different learning styles. And one thing that I found about Koreans is they definitely are the most serious about learning English.
Yeah, right,
For Korean people, like, English is super important, so they're very serious about it. They study a lot. They memorize a lot. They study for years and years in school, starting from kindergarten sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But I also find that they're the most shy and the most reserved about speaking English with native speakers.
Yeah.
So, and I think, you know, part of that is about them not wanting to make a mistake and not wanting to be embarrassed or not wanting to, you know, they feel like it has to be perfect, and then they can start speaking.
Yeah.
But the problem with
I
that,
know how they feel because I've been there already.
Yeah.
I'm Korean.
Yeah. It's not. I understand that it's not easy, but that's such an important step. There's no way to learn a language if you never make mistakes. Everybody who is fluent in a language has had embarrassing situations, and when it comes down to it, I think if you go to a country and you are living in that culture, then the people who are native to that culture, they appreciate if you are speaking their language, even if you make mistakes.
Yeah, actually, we don't have to be afraid of making mistakes.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
I've had many embarrassing situations with people in Chinese or in French, and in the end, it's something that you laugh about, and it's not the end of the world. But you get the biggest benefit. Your mistakes are your benefit.
Right. Yeah. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
please.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Is there any particular attitude that Koreans should have when we learn English?
I think having a good sense of humor about it is key.
Yeah, good.
I think, you know, laughter is something that everybody can identify with, and it makes everyone feel more comfortable.
Yeah, break the ice.
Yeah, it's a great way to break the ice, you know, if you're talking to a native speaker. And again, especially if you know, I know there are a lot of foreigners who live in Korea. And so if you meet a foreigner in Korea, maybe it's a little bit different. But if you live here in the States, Americans are used to living with foreigners. We live in LA. There are a ton of people from all over the world here. So we're used to different accents. We expect that people maybe don't speak English perfectly. So that's not a problem for us. So if you can just, at all. So if you can just kind of keep a sense of humor about it, if you make a mistake, you know, everybody can laugh about it, then it just makes it easier for everyone.
Yeah.
So if you have the attitude from the very beginning, as soon as you meet the person, oh, my English is not good, what's going to happen? Automatically, your English will not be good. Your way of thinking is so important to what happens, what comes out of your mouth. So you should tell yourself, even if you don't believe it sometimes in the beginning, just say, my English is good enough. My English is good enough now. Yeah. I know a lot of words. I just have to use them. Yeah. So if you meet an American, don't be afraid. They are willing to help you. Americans are friendly. So if you have the right attitude, you can make a million mistakes and no one will care.
Yeah. Can I add some explanation for Korean viewers?
Yeah.
In Korean, sorry. 그러니까 절대로 여러분 두려워하실 필요가 없으세요. 그러니까 우리가 생각할 때 내 영어가 완벽하지 않아서 내가 갖고 있는 여러분의 능력은 정말 충분하세요. 이제까지 알고 있는 어휘들, 여러분이 알고 계신 문법들, 뭐 조금 문법 틀리고 액센트 틀려도 정말 괜찮아요. 여러분이 여러분을 너무 의식을 많이 하시면은 틀려서 배우는 그 과정이 없어져 버리잖아요. 근데 언어의 특징은 계속 틀리면서 배우고 쓰면서 틀리면서 배우고 또 틀려서 또 다시 배우는 그 과정을 반복하게 되거든요. 그래서 선생님도 지금 그 말씀을 해주신 거예요. 네. I'm sure that there are so many factors that we have to consider when we learn English, and we shouldn't single one out. That having been said, if you have something that you really want to recommend to Korean learners, what would it be? If you think, oh, there is a golden key to mastering English, because I believe that I know you've already mentioned that we already know that there is no magic bullet at all. But I know that there are still a lot of people who want to believe there is a way. There is the fastest way. There is the fastest way to learn English in the fastest way.
I would say it's really about practice.
Yeah, practice.
And
practice
not
makes
just
perfect.
practice makes perfect, but not just practicing. There are some ways that are more effective than others, and I can't recommend more highly is to find a native speaker. I mean, I have a lot of respect for teachers, and I know that you have excellent teachers in Korea who are often not native speakers. That have, I don't think that native speakers have the golden key to teaching, but I think that they have something very valuable in terms of like showing you the correct pronunciation and also showing you the most natural way to speak.
Yes, right. That's right.
So Sophie has brought questions to me and from things that she's learned in classes that were incorrect in terms of what's the most natural way to speak and what would Americans say when they speak. And it's not to turn you into an American. You don't have to speak the way that we do.
Yeah.
But there are situations where the thing that you learned in school may be incorrect to the point that an American won't understand you.
Yeah, right.
And that's a big problem. So it's about getting over your fear of making mistakes so that you can get out and really talk to a native speaker in some kind of situation. So it could be a language exchange, finding an American who wants to learn Korean, and so their Korean is bad and they might be embarrassed with you, and you might think your English is not perfect, but together you can really help each other. Or finding a tutor or someone who is a native speaker.
Yeah, that's
so you can
important.
ask those specific, really, important questions to.
Yeah.
And then, just dedicating time every day to not just, memorizing a word list, but okay, memorize the list if you have to. But then you have to take that list and bring it into your real life.
Yes.
So
that's really important.
I think so. I think so. That was the key for me. I know it was the key for you.
Yeah, right.
And there are no shortcuts.
No shortcuts at all. Yeah, right, definitely. So meaning there is no other way around it. Consistency. I mean, practicing at least 5 minutes a day every day should be our top priority. Can I add in Korean? Yeah. 그러니까 여러분 실수를 하시는 거는 전혀 두려워할 게 아니고요. 말씀드린 것처럼 꾸준히 consistency 늘 계속해서 쭉 하시는 게 가장 중요해요. Every day, 5 minutes every day. Yeah. 5 minutes a day.
At least 5 minutes.
Yeah,
the more the better.
Yeah. 3 minutes no good. 4 minutes no, not enough. Just longer than 5 minutes. Great. So thank you, Ms. Lee.
You are welcome.
And thank you for watching. 여러분, she has something to tell you in Korean. 한국말로 조금 뭔가 하실 말씀이 있으시대요.
감사합니다. 코리아 파이팅.
네, 코리아 파이팅. 네, 한국 파이팅입니다. 여러분 힘내시고요. 여러분 주시는 의견 다 소소하게 모아서 많은 사람들한테 될 수 있으면 도움이 될 수 있는 주제는 거의 다 다뤄보려고 하고 있어요. 네, 그러니까 여기 힘들잖아요. 영어 공부하시는 거. 그래도 여러분이 어떤 거를 느끼실지 저도 그런 걸 느껴봤기 때문에 잘 아니까 다 마음에 두고 있다가 하나하나씩 같이 풀어보는 시간들을 가질게요. 그리고 리즈 선생님도 이제 같이 도와주시는 일이 많으실 거예요. 그러니까 기대해 주시고요. 리즈 선생님 한국 분들 정말 많이도 가르쳐 보셨고 잘 가르치시거든요. 근데 저도 모르는 거 리즈 선생님한테 물어보고 그래요. 그런데 물론 원어민이라서 다 설명을 잘하는 건 아니고요. 분명히 본인도 공부를 계속하고 계시기 때문에 그 공부하는 사람의 마음을 정말 잘 헤아리고 거기에 대한 답을 정확하게 주시는 편이세요. 그래서 여러분 만약에 관심 있으시면 제가 리즈 선생님이랑 같이 연락할 수 있는 페이스북이나 아니면 리즈 선생님 스카이프 아니면 리즈 선생님 이메일 다 알려드릴 테니까 네, 연락하셔서 한번 공부할 수 있는 방법을 찾아보시는 것도 좋을 것 같아요. 네, 오늘 함께 해주신 리즈 선생님 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
Yeah, thank you once again.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah. 감사합니다, 여러분.
감사합니다.
Okay, good.